Myself Adasha KS, working as a lecturer in Government Polytechnic Nagamangala. I welcome you all for the most useful videos on different experiments of 5th Sem Electronics Servicing Lab. In the last session video, we studied different external components of a computer. In this session, we are going to learn about the identification of different parts on the motherboard along with their uses. The different parts we are going to identify on the motherboard are CMOS, CPU, RAM, BIOS-ROM, memory slot, power connector, IDE connector, SATA connector, AGP, PCI, PCI Express, chipset, SMPS and heatsink. Motherboard. Motherboard is the most important part of any personal computer. It is the central and core assembly of the computer system unit. Motherboard is also called as PCB board or main board, and shortly it is termed as MOBO. M-O-B-O. It is fixed to the CPU cabin. It is called as motherboard because it coordinates between the different hardware components on the motherboard. Mean to say, it holds and allows communication between many of the important electronic components of a system such as central processing unit and memory. And it provides connectors for the other peripheral devices. If you look into the different internal parts of motherboard are, the first one is CPU socket. It holds the CPU. So if you just remove the CPU socket, you can see the processor available on the motherboard. This is the processor on this motherboard. And the next one is heat sink. These are the two different heat sinks available on this motherboard. Next, this is north bridge and this is south bridge. North bridge together with south bridge, we term it as chipset. The next part is memory slot. This slot is used to insert RAM, random access memory. Next important part of motherboard is BIOS chip or BIOS IC, basic input output system IC. And the next is to the important parts of the motherboard, we are going to supply power through the important connector called 24 pins ATX power connector. Next, power to this CPU or power to the processor is supplied to this 4-pin connector. The other connector available on this motherboard is IDE connectors. Next, we have other connectors, that is PCI, peripheral component interconnect. This is PCI 1 and this is PCI 2. And this is PCI Express, peripheral component interconnect express. And we have CMOS battery here. And the other connector available on the motherboard is SATA connectors. There are 4 SATA connectors available on this motherboard. The first component of motherboard we are concentrating is CPU. CPU stands for Central Processing Unit. It is an electronic circuitry within a computer that carries out the instructions of a computer program by performing the basic arithmetic, logical and control operation specified by the instructions. CPU is also known as microprocessor or simply the processor. It is the brain of the computer. It is responsible for fetching, decoding and execution of program instruction as well as performing mathematical and logical operations. The form, design and implementation of CPUs have been changed over the course of their history, but their fundamental operations remains almost unchanged. The principal component of a CPU includes ALU, that is Arithmetic Logic Unit. It performs basic arithmetic logic operations. And the second one is Control Unit. It controls the execution operation. And the third one is registers to store the information or the results. There are different types of processors you can see in the present market. Main two vendors are Intel processor and the other one is AMD processor. Intel processor we have four types: Intel Pentium dual core processor, Intel i3 processor, Intel i5 processor and Intel i7 processor. First one, Intel Pentium dual core processor has got dual core processing techniques. i3 processor has also dual core, but it is integrated with graphics and hyper threading technology. Whereas Intel i5 processor, it is a quad core processor. Please remember, i3 processor dual core processor, whereas i5 processor are quad core processor without hyper threading technology. Mean to say, i5 processor does not support hyper threading technology, but they are enabled with turbo boost technology. And the next processor is i7 processor. These are 4 cores processor and these are enabled with hyper threading technology. Hence, i7 processor act like an 8 core processor. These are the 4 types of Intel processor available in the market. In the similar way, AMD has also AMD A4 processor, AMD A6 processor, AMD A8 processor, AMD A10 processor. AMD A4 processor has got 2 cores. AMD A6 processor is also dual core. AMD A8 processor has got 4 cores. AMD A810 processor is a 4 processor comparable with i5 and it has a better battery life. In my case, in this motherboard, this is the CPU socket which holds the actual processor of the motherboard. This is the simple chip. It is also called as microprocessor, and you can see processor on this motherboard. If you want to see a processor on this, you have to remove this heatsink, and below this you can see same kind of processor on this motherboard also. I hope it's clear. It is the brain of the computer. It executes all the instructions as given through the program, and it also performs arithmetic, logic and other operations. Next, we'll move on to chipset. What is a chipset? It is a combination of North bridge and South bridge. In this case, this is a North bridge. If you remove this heatsink, you can see a North bridge IC, and this is South bridge. In this case, this is a North bridge and this is a South bridge. North bridge and South bridge together we call it as a chipset. North bridge is also called as memory controller. South bridge is called as input output controller or expansion controller. I'll repeat. North bridge is called as memory controller, it is in the charge of controlling transfer between the processor and the RAM. The function of the memory controller is to controlling the transfer between processor and RAM. That is north bridge. Next, the south bridge handles communication between slower peripheral devices. Chipset also controls the data flow to and from hard disk and other devices connected to the IDE channels. To sum up, a chipset is a group of small circuits that coordinates the flow of data to and from a PC key components. The image we are seeing on a screen is a BIOS IC. This IC we can easily identify on a motherboard. It has got its own importance. BIOS stands for Basic Input Output System, and it is a read-only memory. What is the use of this memory? Very simple. When we turn on a system, it will not get turned on immediately. It takes certain amount of time to turn on completely. This time is utilized for POST. POST stands for Power On Self-Test. POST refers to a series of checks that a computer goes through whenever it starts. If a computer fails any of this test, it stops the startup process and returns the error. This special POST firmware is reside in a chip called BIOS ROM. It is the first program which runs every time when you turn on your computer, and also it loads the operating system directly. And BIOS IC provides simple interface for configuring computer's hardware, and it acts as an interface between the operating system and hardware. It contains all the codes required for controlling the keyboard, display screen, disk drives, serial communication, and number of miscellaneous functions. And please remember in mind that it is a separate memory from the main memory, and it is used for running and loading software. The next motherboard component we are concentrating is memory slots. It is also called as memory socket or RAM slot. As the name says, this slot is used to insert RAM into it. In my case, there are two motherboards. In this motherboard, there are two memory slots. You can see here clearly there are two memory slots in this. In this motherboard also, there are two memory slots. RAM is inserted to it. And this RAM also determines the type of the RAM we need to insert. There are different types of RAMs, DDR1, DDR2 and DDR3. This memory slots determine what type of RAM to be inserted. The next point with respect to this memory slots is the number of memory slots present on the motherboard depends upon the vendor or the manufacturer. In both the cases, there are only two memory slots. Some motherboards have 4 memory slots, and some high-end motherboards possess 8 memory slots. What is the use of having high memory slots in the sense we can add extra RAM to the motherboard to speeden up the execution process. The two types of basic RAM available are SDRAM and the other one is DDR. Next motherboard component we are concentrating is RAM. RAM stands for Random Access Memory. It mainly used to temporarily store dynamic data to enhance the computer performance while you are working. What it does? It stores frequently used program instructions to increase the general speed of a system. And mainly it allows data items to be read or written in almost the same amount of time irrespective of the physical location of the data inside the memory. In my case, you can see a RAM here, and the size of the RAM you can easily notify on the RAM itself. See, it is a 1 GB RAM. I told you earlier there are different types of RAM, DDR1, DDR2, DDR3. You can easily locate the one I am showing you is a DDR1. See, you can see here this is the DDR1 RAM. So I can clearly say this DDR1 RAM can be inserted to this memory slot. So this memory slot can take only DDR1 types of RAM. Before purchasing a RAM in the market, you should know what type of memory slots my motherboard has. If your motherboard having DDR2 slots, you should buy a DDR2 RAMs. And main importantly, RAM is a volatile memory. Mean to say, the data in the RAM is washed out once the power is switched off. But non-volatile RAM has also been developed and that is available in the market. I'll sum up. RAM is mainly used to speeden up the execution process. If you want to see your system to work in a faster way, you should have higher capacity or higher size of RAM. Next motherboard component we should learn is Accelerated Graphics Port, AGP. If you want to play a video game or if you want to design a computer drawing which includes 3D images, you must have video card on your CPU. That video card should be attached to the motherboard. That video card should be attached to the AGP. I mean to say, AGP is a port or a special point channel to attach video cards. The main use of this AGP is to support 3D textures. It is a high-speed point-to-point channel for attaching video card to a computer system, preliminarily to assist in the acceleration of 3D computer graphics. AGP also allows 3D textures to be stored in main memory rather than video memory. And it is almost absolute now in the market because AGP slot have been taken over by PCI and PCI Express buses, which is going to study in the next few minutes. See, in my both motherboards, we don't see AGP slots, but AGP slots look similar to these type of PCI Express component devices. Okay, this is about AGP. AGP stands for Accelerated Graphics Port. It is mainly used to connect video cards. Next serial bus we should know about is PCI. PCI stands for Peripheral Component Interconnect. Then what are the devices we connect to this PCI. Modem, network card, sound card, video card are the devices we use to connect to this PCI. PCI is nothing but local computer bus for attaching external hardware devices to the computer. PCI was introduced by Intel in 1992 and this PCI slots or PCI buses has been taken over by PCI Express slot. Now number of PCI slots on the motherboard depend upon the manufacturer. In both of my motherboard we can see two PCI slots. This is PCI 1 and this is PCI 2, and in this motherboard also this is PCI 1 and this is PCI 2. So if you want to attach network card, modem or video card or sound card, we need to attach to this PCI slots. And it is a local computer bus. Please remember this. I'll repeat, PCI is nothing but it is a local computer bus for connecting video cards, sound cards, modem, network. PCI stands for Peripheral Component Interconnect. Okay. And this is taken over by our next component on the motherboard is PCI Express. These are the two PCI Express card. Peripheral Component Interconnect Express. Same. It also used to connect video card, sound cards, network cards, and sometimes these PCI Express can also be used to connect USB devices. It is a high-speed serial computer expansion bus standard. Remember this, it provides high speed. And it is designed to replace the older PCI and AGP bus standards. And it is a high-speed serial connection that operates more like a network than a bus. PCI Express has numerous improvements over the older standards. That includes, it provides higher maximum system bus throughput and it has lower input count and smaller physical footprint. You can see on the motherboard, see the PCI Express only it has got this much length and it is very less length when compared to this PCI. Better performance scaling for bus devices, and also it has a special mechanisms to detect error and also to report the error mechanism. Mean to say it has got advanced error reporting mechanism, and it also support hot plug functionalities, and more importantly, more recent version of PCI Express standard bus provides hardware support for I/O virtualization. I hope this is clear. I'll sum up these three bus standards. The three bus standards we studied in the last few minutes is, one is AGP, Accelerated Graphics Port, and the other one is PCI, and the last one is PCI Express. All these three are used to connect modem, network card, sound card, video card, audio card to the motherboard. These three are the bus standards we are going to have on our motherboard. Now we will learn about different types of connectors available on the motherboard. Mainly, there are three types of connector we should know with respect to motherboard. The three types of connectors are, one is power connector, the second one is IDE connector, and the third one is SATA connector. Firstly, we will concentrate on power connectors. As the name itself clearly explains, these connectors are used to provide power to the motherboard and to the CPU. Every motherboard has got 24 ATX pin connector as I am showing in the video. In this motherboard, this is the ATX 24 pin connector, and in this motherboard, this is the ATX 24 pin connector. What is the use of this 24 pin connector? This 24 pin connector provide power to all the other devices which are available on the motherboard. What is the expansion of ATS? ATX stands for Advanced Technology Extended. Initially, when the motherboard was invented, we are using only 80 power connector. It stands for Advanced Technology. It has got only 20 pins. Now it has been expanded to 20 or 24 pin connector. Some boards have 20 and some boards have 24 connector. This is the ATX 20 or 24 pin connector. We can easily separate this. Some boards have 28 pin connector, so we can easily connect this to the motherboard to provide the power. Some devices, some motherboards have 24 pins. In my case, my motherboard has 24 pins, so we can easily connect this 24 pin ATX power connector to the connector provided on the motherboard. This is very important. In this ATX pin connector, among this 24 pin, the first pin is in the square shape. The first pin is in the square shape. This should be remembered. Next, the other power connector to the CPU or processor is provided through this 4-pin connector. Power to the CPU or the processor is given through this 4-pin connector. You have to remember this. Whereas this 24-pin connector provide power to the motherboard components, and this special 4-pin connector provide power to the processor. In this motherboard, this is the 4-pin connector, power connector to give a power to the processor. Okay. Next, the next connector we should know is IDE connector. IDE stands for Integrated Drive Electronics Connector. It is a standard interface for connecting motherboard to the storage devices such as hard drives and CD-ROM or DVD drives. The IDE interface contains 2 IDE devices connections and 2 motherboard connection for the data cables. So in my case, you can see in the picture, I have 2 IDEs. This is IDE 1 and this is IDE 2. This is a 40-pin connector. And what is this then? This is the IDE for floppy drives. Okay. In this motherboard, you can see only 2 IDEs. That is, this one is for IDE 1, it's for hard drives or mother disk drives, and this is for floppy drives, which is almost absolute now. The SATA interface has replaced the IDE interface as the preferred hard drive interface. It is almost absolute now. We are not using IDE connectors to connect to the hard drives or DVD drives, hard disk or hard drives. Okay. This is about hard IDE connectors. I'll repeat. IDE stands for Integrated Drive Electronics. This connector is mainly to connect the hard drives or hard disk or DVD drives to the motherboard. Okay. Next, the third connector we need to know in this part is SATA connector, Serial Advanced Technology Attachment Connector. Serial ATA. Serial ATA is a computer bus interface that connects host bus adapters to mass storage devices such as hard disk drives optical drives and solid state drives. So in my case, in this motherboard, I can see 4 SATA connectors, SATA1, SATA2, SATA3 and SATA4, which are connected, which are shown as in this motherboard. So you can see here same 4 SATA connectors, 2 are in red color and the 2 are in black color. What is the use of this SATA connector? SATA connectors are used to connect motherboard to the hard disk or memory devices or to the DVD-ROM or to the optical drives. This IDE drives has been taken over by this SATA cables. Then what is the advantages of this SATA connectors? It reduction in voltage and pin count. Pin count in the sense this IDE connector has got only 40 pins, whereas this SATA connector has got only 7 pins. Almost voltages also get reduced and the number of pin count is also get reduced if you use SATA connector instead of IDE connector to connect hard disk, DVD-ROM and other drives to the motherboard. And it is smaller and easier to route cables, and main important advantages is improved data robustness. Okay. So these are the 3 main power connectors we should know with respect to the motherboard. I'll repeat, the 3 types of connectors we should know is, one is power connector. This is the power connector ATX 24 pin connector to provide power to the motherboard, and this is the 4 pin connector to provide a power to the CPU, and IDE connector to connect motherboard to the disk drives, hard drives, DVD-ROM, and this is taken over by SATA connector, serial advanced technology attachment connector, and these are 4 in numbers, and this is usually used to connect hard disk, DVD-ROM, optical drives to the motherboard. Heat sink. When you study continuously for 2 to 3 hours, you will feel stressed. And at that moment, when you simply touch your head, you feel that it's get lightly heated. So, what will you do at that moment? You will take a break, you will take rest and do some other activities. In the same way, mind or brain of our computer is processor. It executes n number of instructions. It also gets heated, so it is to be cooled. For this purpose, we use a device called heat sink. Heat sink dissipates the heat energy from the processor, preventing it from overheating. The heat sink is made up of metals such as zinc or copper alloy, and it is attached to the processor with a thermal material that draws the heat from away the processor towards the heat sink. Heat sink can range in size from barely covering the processor to several times the size of the processor if the CPU requires it. An active heat sink comes with small fan attached to the top of the pin area used to cool the surface as shown in the below picture. The last component we need to study under this experiment is SMPS, switched mode power supply. It is an electronic circuit that converts power using switching devices that are turned on and turned off at high frequencies, and storage components such as inductors or capacitors to supply power when the switching device is in its non-conduction state. You can see SMPS of a computer in the video. It mainly consists of a rectifier, a bridge rectifier, that is 4 diodes you can see. These 4 diodes act like a bridge rectifier to convert the input AC into DC. The output of the rectifier is given to this filter part. These are the 2 capacitors. This capacitors converts the pulsating DC into exact DC. The output of the filter is given to the regulator IC to regulate the output of the filter, and it has got step up and step down transformer. Step up transformer is used to increase the voltage, whereas step down transformer is used to decrease the voltage based on our requirement. Next, the output end of this SMPS are this. These are the different connectors. These connectors provide different voltage levels. One can be connected to the motherboard and other can be connected to the CPU processor, and other connectors can be connected to run the CPU fans. What I mean to say is, as the name itself clearly explains, this is switched mode power supply, provide supply at the different voltage levels. It is an high efficient and are widely used in variety of electronic equipment, including computers and other sensitive equipments requiring stable and efficient power supplies. Conclude. In this session, we learned the identification of different parts on the motherboard. Firstly, we identified CPU. We learned about the different types of processor available in the market, the size of the CPU, many things about the processor. We also learned about memory slots, the number of memory slots available on the motherboard along with the RAM. We learned the different types of power connector, IDE connector, SATA connector, which is mainly used to connect hard disks and DVD-ROM. We also learned the peripheral component buses like AGP, IDE, PCI and PCIe Express, and heat transfer devices like heatsink, and also we learned about switched mode power supply. Thank you.